deepest horrors are not those lurking in the woods or behind locked doors, but those that wait in the silence of your own bedroom. They wait for the moment your defenses drop, when the rational mind surrenders to the chaos of sleep. For centuries, across every continent and culture, humanity has told the same terrifying story. A story of waking up, fully conscious, yet utterly, terrifyingly paralyzed. Watched over by a dark entity sitting upon your chest. This is the story of the nightmare as an entity, the sleep paralysis demon. Today, we have a clinical name for this state: sleep paralysis. But for hundreds of years, it was known simply as a visitation by a malevolent creature which attacked its victims as they slept. To understand why this state was so universally interpreted as demonic, you must first understand the clinical mechanics of the experience. Sleep paralysis is a malfunction of the brain during the natural rest cycle, a common body-mind glitch that upwards of 50% of the global population claim to have experienced at least once in their lifetime. The failure occurs during the rapid eye movement, or REM phase, the deepest, most active phase of sleep, when the most vivid dreaming occurs. To ensure you do not act out your dreams, your brain sends signals that induce complete muscle paralysis, a state called atonia. This paralysis is the brain's built-in protector, keeping you safe while the subconscious runs wild. But sometimes, the synchronization fails. Your mind wakes up or becomes partially conscious, while your body remains utterly locked down, immobile. Suddenly, you are conscious, trapped in a transition state between dream and wakefulness. You are acutely aware of your surroundings, yet unable to move a single muscle, speak a single word, or signal for help. The unpredictability of this malfunction, triggered by stress or sleep deprivation, only amplifies the horror. The psychological and physical terror that follows is immediate and profound. Victims describe a sudden, overwhelming surge of intense fear and panic. They are awake, trapped, and acutely aware of their surroundings, yet utterly unable to escape. Your conscious mind has no control over your physical form. The first factor is the incubus assault. This is the physical component, the suffocating feeling of pressure on the chest, difficulty breathing, and intense pain. Victims feel a tremendous, heavy weight, sometimes described as a great dog or thief lying upon her breast, so that she could hardly speak or breathe. They try desperately to throw off the burden, but are completely unable to stir their limbs. The incubus factor is the body's panicked, paralyzed mind struggling against the involuntary atonia. The second factor is the intruder hallucination. This is a terrifying visual reality. Victims experience auditory and visual hallucinations, the overwhelming sensation of a malevolent, threatening presence in the room. They see shadowy figures or dark shapes standing over them, watching them. Because the physical and sensory experience of sleep paralysis is neurologically identical worldwide, cultures across the globe have generated distinct yet functionally identical demons to explain the attack. In Northern Europe, the Germanic and Scandinavian regions, this entity was known as the Mara. The historical name for sleep paralysis, the nightmare, is a direct etymological link to this demon. The Mara actively torments victims by sitting heavily on their chest, tormenting them with oppressive nightmares and causing the sensation of crushing suffocation. In medieval Europe, the fear took a different, more sexualized form: the succubus, or Lilith. This demon was often viewed as a sexual aggressor or the spirit of a dead, unbaptized child that attacked people in their beds. It was said to cut off the victim's respiration by jumping on their chest and grasping their throat. Lilith, in the Talmudic tradition, was blamed not only for inflicting disease, but for vexing the sons of men as they slept alone. Across the Middle East, the entity of fear was often the Jinn. Rooted in Islamic teachings, Jinn are shape-shifting spirits, born of smokeless flame. They appear as shadowy figures hovering over the sleeping alone, capable of inflicting desire, disease, or pure terror. In Japan, the phenomenon is known as Kanashibari, a word that chillingly translates to bound by metal chains. Unlike a natural demon or spirit, Kanashibari was seen as a curse, a binding cast upon victims through ancient spiritual retribution. This paralysis, this binding, was believed to be a calculated act, the mark of vengeance from beyond the living world. And finally, in parts of South Africa, the terror of being pinned down is attributed to the Tokoloshi, a demonic dwarf-like creature summoned through black magic. This Tokoloshi is no ordinary nightmare. It is a living curse, called forth by dark sorcery to torment and control. The paralysis, the Segatalelo assault, reinforces the belief that such terror is not random, but deliberate, an act of black magic. The Tokoloshi sits upon the victim's chest, a manifestation of spiritual retribution, punishment, or possession. The enduring, chilling power of these entities stems from the complete absence of a rational explanation. The underlying cause is neither demon nor spirit, but a temporary glitch in the complex circuitry of the brain. During the REM cycle, the brain generates the most vivid dreams. The visual and auditory hallucinations experienced during sleep paralysis are technically known as hypnopompic or hypnagogic hallucinations. These are essentially dream fragments that invade the waking mind. The panic of being unable to move is then interpreted by the waking mind as an external threat, the crushing weight of the incubus demon. The entities are born from specific, shared human experiences. The sensation of being unable to breathe fully, the feeling of pressure on the chest, and the terrifying sight of a dark, immobile figure. All symptoms generated by the panic of the waking mind being confronted by the paralyzed body. A synchronization error, often triggered by stress or sleep deprivation. The Mara, the succubus, and the Jinn are not separate creatures. They are the same fundamental neurological terror, each wearing the mask of a different culture's deepest fears, but utterly powerless against the demon created by your own brain.